It's early morning in the French port city of Calais. I'm looking for a disused factory where an aid organisation distributes food to migrants. Graffiti points me in the right direction. The area could not be less welcoming. Aside from refugees and people helping them, there's no one around. The people who gather here are dependent on humanitarian aid. They're in France illegally, hoping to make it to Britain. For years, Calais has been a way station for migrants. The mood gets aggressive. The undocumented migrants don't like cameras. After a few threats, I raise a few shots I've recorded. A few boys start to play a game of soccer, and the mood relaxes again. I'm allowed to get closer with the camera, and one man has a message for me.
I'm from Somalia. My country, 20 years war. I ran away to be saved, to be accommodated, to be integration, but I don't get it.
Two policemen in an unmarked car watch from a distance. When I turn the camera on them, they hide behind the banner. Later, when I leave the area, they stop me. The officers are polite, but it's clear I'm not allowed to film. Reporters are not welcome. Behind the port area, in the dunes and bordering woods, is what's called the jungle, where the illegal migrants live. From here, they climb into trucks at night, hoping to get to Britain. Stéphane Bassonnet works for Médecins du Monde. He takes me to one of the camps where his aid organisation helps out. There's a Christmas tree at the entrance, an attempt to make things here as cosy as possible. Ali from Iraq welcomes us to the jungle. It's his home. Some 60 people live here, all from Iraq or Afghanistan. There are a lot of children, most without parents. They were brought here by people smugglers.
From Istanbul to Italy, we pay $7,000. And then the ship, middle of water, and the people nearly to die, you know? The engine was broke. And we are nearly died. But we are lucky because we got a number from the police in Greece, and we give the call. The police send a helicopter.
It's not only the journey that costs a fortune. A place to sleep in the jungle costs too.
What I know, it's people pay about €1,000 to have the opportunity to stay on this land, and after to go into a truck.
Anyone who has paid so much and come this far cannot go back home. Britain is their only hope. They say a lot of their countrymen already live there. There's no identity card requirement, and it's easier to find work illegally. Mohammed tells me the police were there this morning and destroyed his tent. Now he doesn't have a place to sleep. The people here are all refugees from war zones, and they can't be deported. So the French government tries to get them to leave on their own.
Police came like in the morning about 6 o'clock. If the police see you, gonna catch you, take to the prison, and you have to stay 15 days. But we are run away from 7 and came back here like 10 o'clock.
I slept there in the tent, and he kicked me by braids, you know, braids. Kicked me, stand up, man, come there. I talk with him, he said with me, to me, that's not your country, it's my country. Too much problem there, so I don't know what I do.
Not everyone in France supports this repressive approach, however. In Nord-en-Font, a village of 1,500 residents, an hour's drive from Calais, Mayor Marc Benoit is trying to help refugees living in a nearby camp. His ongoing dispute with the national government is a big topic in the local media. He's been threatened with prosecution for not allowing the camps to be demolished. Marc Boulnois tells me that although he's facing legal threats, so far no mayor has been convicted for helping undocumented migrants. So he'll just wait and see what happens. He says there's a law forbidding people from helping illegal immigrants, but he believes that solidarity cannot be a crime. I drive to the camp. It was built by Eritrean refugees close to a highway service station. It's empty at the moment. In the winter, the migrants live in a former school cafeteria. It doesn't look very comfortable, but it's luxurious compared to the camps in the jungle. But that has its price, of course. The migrants have to pay the smugglers a lot more for a spot in this camp than for the one in the jungle. On the way back, I see that most of the rest stops are closed. It's to make sure refugees have no chance to hide in parked trucks. I drive to a gas station and look for drivers. I want to know how they deal with the situation.
When I go into border and find someone in my trailer, I have big problems. I might bet a lot of £1,000. So, but why? I'm only driver. Yeah, okay. I can check the seals, everything, but I don't know. They people have some magic things, and we open the trailer and we see the people. Yeah, and for drivers it's a big problem, really big problem. So I don't know. I think it's France government or England government must do it something with that. Yeah.
I return to the jungle camp. Stéphane Bassonet has organized materials to put up a new tent. People from Médecins du Monde come once a week with a mobile clinic to treat the migrants.
Again?
The doctor's work is financed by donations. Without papers, the refugees have no access to medical care except in an emergency.
35.
Combien?
35.
35?
Oui.
We are worried with tuberculosis. This is a disease that you can easily spread to another one, and it's a danger. It's an old disease that it's not very often in France, and also Gall disease because they change sleeping bags and blankets.
There's a sudden flurry of activity in the camp. At first, I think the police are coming, but the group is running across the highway in order to secure the best spots for getting into trucks later. I follow them, and in the excitement, don't notice the ditch between the camp and the highway. I need help getting back. The new tent isn't ready. Mohammed and the others will have to sleep in even closer quarters.
Where do you sleep now? You find a...
I find a place. I come to here last night.
Stéphane Bassonet says he'll come back tomorrow to finish putting up the tent. He's asked when.
After the police.
As we leave the camp, I'm struck by how calmly the refugees seem to be accepting their fate. I return to Calais, to the port. With money from Britain, one of the most insurmountable borders in the world has been built here in the past few years. I'm reminded of the former border between the two Germanys. Rich European countries are increasingly walling themselves off, but that won't solve the problem. Despite all the preventative measures, on this night, several refugees will manage to get on board ferries to Britain. I wonder if any of the people I've met will be among them.